The United States is one of the most, quote unquote, most powerful positions in the world.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. This is Clifton Raheem Bradley, the Underground Railroad television show. And today I'm going to give you a blast from the past. You get to see Ladonna Tittle. She is legendary, and she was a host at WVON and WJPC, and she plays on the TV show called Shot in Chicago. And tribute to Brother Salim Muwakkil, a WVON radio station, comes on and say hi to Melody Spann. So I'm still waiting on the interview. And Brother Bosey Edwards, okay, which is my mentor, okay. And this is in Chicago, and former Alderman Jones. So, with no further ado, let me get to work here. Thank you.
Welcome back to your show, Underground Railroad. This show shows on Channel 19 every Saturday at 10:30, and your host is Clifton Raheem Bradley. But today we are live, so I want to encourage our audience to call us. We have about 13 more minutes on our show. So let's go ahead and discuss. We're talking about the elections, upcoming elections. What do you think is the role of our African American community, our Black community, as far as these elections?
Oh, that we should get out and vote. I just did a promo on my show, Cooking with Tittle. We're on every Thursday at 8 o'clock and Fridays at 3 o'clock. And I just did a promo about voting for democracy. It is so important that we do not elect felonious criminals into this White House. And it's slowly deteriorating what is happening now with the former president, that they're trying to take away our rights, women rights, as far as abortions are concerned, or whatever your view is about life. But women that are having a hard time with pregnancies, women who are dying because they can't get medical attention because of this crazy reversal of Roe versus Wade, which was in effect for the last 50 years. So in my spirit of being intelligent Black woman and knowing that they could go for other things that could further discriminate against our rights, is very important for us to get out and vote.
And my apologies because I forgot to introduce you, Ladonna Tittle. And so people know you. People know you from various...
They may not. They say it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Who knows you. So first, that was important for me to do, to apologize. But let's go ahead and talk about women's rights as far as this upcoming election.
Well, it's like I just said, we have to be more cognizant of how we vote and who we vote for. Now, as Malcolm X said one time, and he says it in Message to the Grassroots, who would you rather be eaten by, the lions or the tigers? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is a democracy. We have two parties, Republican and Democrats, And before a long time, before Reconstruction, black people were Republicans.
That's right. So, but let me go ahead and play devil's advocate, because there are 3 other candidates, independent candidates, and in the past it's always been used like, hey, you know, if you vote for any of them, you're gonna let someone else. However, across the nation, and I've been traveling, I'm still traveling.
Oh, I want to go with you.
Take
me with you.
I will. My next trip. So, however, right now it feels like my sense that I'm getting from various people across the country is that they're tired of these 2 parties. It seems to me from what I hear. I just hear.
Well, what are you? If you waste your vote. Let's not waste our vote. Right now, there is not one outstanding independent candidate that stands out to me.
So we have Kennedy, and we have Stein, and we have Cornel West. So when I talk to people,
you're talking about Dr. Cornel West?
Yes.
And he's going to make president.
And I'm talking, okay, Jill Stein, and this is the 3rd time for her running. And
I doubt if she's going to make it too.
Well, she's on the ballot.
It's not that they're not good enough, but what I'm saying is that you have to be realistic with this election. This election is very important to us. And by the way, so are your local elections and who you elect in your local offices. So I tell people all the time, you know, get out and vote. It doesn't have to be a major election for president or for vice president. You have to vote for your councilman. You have to vote for, now you can vote for your school things. You can vote for mayor. You can vote for alderman. These elections are very important. Governors are important.
So let me ask you, because in my previous conversation with the previous guest, we talked about, okay, to this day, okay, all across the nation, we still do not have health care as Americans.
But we have some kind of health care, thanks to the Obama administration.
Okay.
We have some kind of health care. With the former president, we did not even have that. They've been knocking down everything. Now they're making it so that you can use machine guns to kill people. They just had a shooting today. You know, that was horrific. And it's because the Supreme Court, which is heavily weighed by the former president who elected some of these people, and they blocked it. And here you got a mass shooting going on. And it's going to continue to go on until we can do something about it.
So that's when I speak to people across the nation, and I would love to take you with me so that you can hear.
Oh, I would love to go.
Yes.
And I'll do my cooking with them, because that's what I do.
Oh, that's what
cooking
you do.
with Tittle. And I love all kind of ethnic dishes, and I love experimenting different cultural foods. So, you know, with food, everybody comes to the party, right?
Oh, that's right. Everybody shows up, right?
Everybody shows up.
And that's a good way to actually start in the dialogue.
Yes,
I think it would be
absolutely.
awesome.
Around a good plate of food, chips, dips, whatever you like to eat.
And then have a nice discussion about
and
it.
have a good discussion, and hopefully something will come out of it. It's very hard to change people's minds, because a lot of minds are made up. They talk about black men wanting to vote for the former president. That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I mean, this man is a felonist. He's been said guilty. There are people who said they wouldn't vote for him if he was guilty, and he has been found guilty. And I believe with the other charges, the insurrection that happened January 6th, where people were killed, this is serious. This man says if he shot somebody in New York City, he would never be atoned for his criminality. That is the wrong statement to say. Just because you're president, you can go and shoot somebody, you won't be convicted. That's not right.
I agree.
No man is above the law.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Now, let me go ahead and play devil's advocate.
Say.
Yeah, let me play devil's advocate based on the question right here. Biden, he's 80-some years old, right?
Why does that matter? You know, in this country, we say age does not matter. And now they're just going against everything that has been said. Don't discriminate against the elderly. What is they doing? They're discriminating. This man has got his wits about him. He's got wisdom. We must respect our elders because they have wisdom. They may be right, they may be wrong, and we can decide on if they're right. But right now, Biden and Kamala are right.
Okay, we have a caller, but before that, I just want to share with you that I actually did a research because on Biden Criminal Act 1980. 84, I believe, that incarcerated a lot of black men. Okay, so let's go ahead to the caller. And I did my, we'll talk about that. Can we have the caller?
Yeah, you know what I was calling to let Ladonna know that I love the WVON and WJPC, which I love, and Chirac. Chirac, I love it.
You mean the Shy. The Shy.
Okay.
But I understand what you mean. What's your question?
I think that was just to comment.
I love you. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of my my supporters, and thank you for supporting me with The Shy and other movies that I made. And I'm wearing my Prince glasses, you know, the third eye, the windows to your soul. So I see you, caller. I see you.
Okay, excellent. So this is based on research that I did in a graph, and actually there's a video of that I came across where a guard was commenting on how after that act there was incarceration. I mean, black men were incarcerated.
You're talking about January 6th?
No, Biden.
You're going back to 1984?
1984, yes. So, you know.
Biden wasn't president in 84.
No. He pushed for that law.
Okay.
That is the case. So many times what I come across is when our politicians actually tell us something and then do something else. And I'm very concerned because I was just in Washington, D.C. last week.
Well, you know that's going to happen, don't you?
And
you know politicians do lie.
Yes.
So, okay. Let's be real here. Unfortunately, they do. They say what is necessary to get over.
But shouldn't we make them accountable?
Well,
should we?
We try to. I think we
So what
try.
can we do to make them accountable?
Put them in jail, probably. Give them a few days to rest up, you know. But of course, you can't incarcerate everybody. But I can say this much, that the fairness of the law has yet to be showcased among equal opportunity. And when we say equal opportunity, we have to say it in the true essence of what it means.
Agree.
And when you have what is happening now today in the Supreme Court that will not make a decision to tell the former president, I hate to even say his name, the former president, that he is not above the law and what he did was wrong, and make him accountable for it. And I hope this judge, who is going to give a determination as July 11th, I hope the determination is to at least put the former president and have him to either be under house arrest through the duration until the election is over, or else, as he was calling for Hillary Clinton, put him in jail.
You know, we talked about accountability. What about when for example, I work in an African American high school, and I see the needs of our students, and yet I see that our congressmen, when I was over there, they prioritized Israel over Americans. That was devastating. When I would try to communicate with many of our congress people and our representatives, I was just told Israel first, to my face. So I was so sad and disappointed because my community, my youth, our youth of our communities are struggling. I drive there and I see this need, and yet I see all of these, our politicians not necessarily working for us.
You know,
so it's so devastating.
I feel you. And black and brown men and people of color or people of minority status should want to help themselves. You have to pull yourself up. You can get a handout, you can get a pull up, but if it's not in your heart or in your mind to do what is necessary, nobody can, you know, how do they say, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink?
Well,
there you go.
We're running out of time.
Oh, no.
We need to say, okay, thank you for watching Underground Railroad, and we'll see you. Bye.
Watch the show.
problem. He got a serious problem.
You know, I think we've struggled with this. Many theorists have struggled. Why are white people? Why do they seem to have such antagonism toward African American Afrophobia? Why is that such a deep-seated part of their psyche? You know, Francis Cress Welsing speculates that it's a genetic impulse, that they sense their genetic extinction because of black people's powerful genetic influence.
Okay.
Linked to the age of exploration, when these Europeans would go to other nations, other countries, other continents, and see darker people and have sex with their women, they would notice that their children were dark.
Yes.
They weren't light. So they began to understand that they couldn't, you know, they would be wiped out if they allowed this kind of sexual miscegenation to go on. And so they developed this notion, this notion of genetic extinction. It's a fear of genetic. This is Francis Cress Welsing's theory as to why they hate black people, because they fear their own extinction in black people. They see it in black people, and so they fear that. It's become a psychological pathology. And then there's others, there's the famous Yaqub theory, right?
Nation of Islam, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
You know, so I mean, but there are people who have tried to figure out, you know, the sun people, ice people theory, that black people evolved in the sun where there was abundance. We didn't develop those kinds of aggressive tendencies. White people evolved in an area where there was sparse resources, and so they developed a very aggressive nature in order to secure the resources. And when these two sensibilities came into proximity, the ones with the aggressive nature took over, and so that's another thing.
Okay, you know, I can remember seeing pictures of black men and black women being lynched. And what I would like to ask you is, those pictures can be photo enhanced. Perhaps some of those people are living right now. Perhaps. It's like the Jewish people. They have Nazi honors that will go around. How come we didn't have that in the African American community? They had those photos enhanced.
Don't say we didn't.
I've
heard stories of brothers who did do that.
Tell us. And I'm talking about do what the Jewish people did to hunt down the individuals that, after the pictures are photo enhanced, be found and prosecuted. Why?
Well, listen, a lot of those families are just gone.
Okay.
But then there are the main thing that spurred up was that was more or less festered for, should I say, to place fear. It's like a bunch of gangs in the neighborhood, and they're able to maintain the neighborhood through a psychological principle of fear. Fear is very powerful means of control. It has no change. There's no physical change, but the change are in the mind. And that was just a means of control. I mean, if you look at some of what the Nazis did to the Jews, or you can go to what the Japanese did to the Chinese in Nanking. I mean, you talking about that's something universal if you want to look at it. In a true sense, it's just to impair fear into the people where they have less control. In other words, I don't have to have a gun to watch you no more. I don't have to have a man with a whip to watch you no more, because this fear changed the mind. When I've lynched you, I've done all types of, cut your penis off. It's just all types of stuff. It's like the ISIS, what they did. They chop off people's head. Why do they do that?
But what I'm asking is, why didn't we have hunters like the Jewish people have to go?
I just got to answer that. It's fear.
Okay. Fear.
Fear paralyzes you. Somebody come to you with a gun and say, "Get out that car." You're so paralyzed with fear, you automatically you do what and that's the problem is fear.
Black people didn't have any alternative value system when we came here.
That's right.
We were totally surrounded by white supremacist doctrine and ideals. We didn't have any sanctuary. Maybe the church acted that, but that was tainted by white supremacy as well.
But that's all psychological. There was no place that you could go physically.
No, exactly right. So we were absolutely helpless and vulnerable.
Okay.
And so we had to figure out other ways of surviving and retaliating. There were some people who did that. Was really extraordinary. Think about it, what they had to fight through in order to have that kind of mindset. We were absolutely surrounded by white supremacist institutions and psychological conditioning. So it was very difficult for
That's
us
right.
to
And think about the American Indians here.
Yeah, they.
See, about the only place that America, people could go was probably to the Indian reservation there.
Right, that's right. And many of us did do that.
Exactly.
We took sanctuary there.
Senator Kirk, when he was senator, he had come up with a bill to find the GDs and the gangster disciples to have them prosecuted. But why didn't he come up with a bill to have whites prosecuted that belong to these groups? Damn, we only got 3 minutes left. So we're going to do a part 2. But you know what? I'm going to give y'all the finishing comments because there may have been something that y'all wanted to say that I didn't give you a chance to say. So you could tell, what show you come on, what time you come on. And so we start with Dr. Lee Warren.
Okay. I have a show called PLM, the Power Laden Man. It comes on every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30. That's every Wednesday on Channel 36, CAN TV. Okay. And it's reshown from Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30. And we have lectures in Hyde Park there at the Lutheran School of Theology. And it's every Sunday from 2:30, but call the plumb lines. That's 773-509-8124. Again, that's 773-509-8124.
Okay, that may have been something you wanted to say and give you information.
Well, no, every Saturday night, 7 to 10, WVON 1690. And check out In These Times if you get an opportunity. It's online, inthesetimes.com. And Salim Muwakkil, I have a wide, oeuvre, I guess you can say, of work of journalism and columns and stories that I've done over the years.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Underground Railroad. Finally got Cliff Kelly and Father Flager. How do you stop the crime in the community?
Stop crime the way Father Flager does. You go out into the community, you create jobs for people, you go into these places, you're selling the loose cigarettes, you won't even hire anybody from the community. Right. You do what Father Flager does. Okay. What he teaches all these young people. Okay.
I think exactly what Cliff said. You got to implement in the community. You got to give people jobs. We got to demand our unemployment stop being 30%. We got to get good schools in our neighborhoods. We got to get options for our young people to do, and we got to help those coming back from prison with alternatives and sending them back to prison. We cannot think we're going to stop violence by just blaming parents and blaming neighbors and not blaming the root of the problem.
You got to get them
the Malaysia Airlines. Malaysia Airlines, where the whole world wants to get to the root of what happened. Let's have the courage to get to the root of what violence is about.
Okay, we all watch the Underground Railroad every Saturday night at 10:30.
Yes, sir, Saturday night, yes, sir.
I got to get both of these guys on. I've been trying to get them for years.
I'm going to do that. We're going to both be out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I follow you guys.